welcome. I am Thomas Porteous and you are watching The World Report. Let's take a look at some of the top headlines. 3 Israeli hostages have been returned, easing fears that the ceasefire agreement could collapse. In return, Hamas has released 369 Palestinian prisoners. J.D. Vance tells President Zelensky at the Munich Security Conference that the US wants a lasting peace in Ukraine. The Ukrainian leader warns that Ukraine faces a low chance of survival without US support. This comes as Vance highlights internal threats to European security, citing immigration following the Munich car ramming. Attorneys Generals from 14 states file a lawsuit challenging the authority of Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency. The suit, filed in Washington, D.C., alleges that the newly formed department is exercising virtually unchecked power. This comes after Musk announces thousands of federal job cuts. The M23 rebel group claims to have entered Bukavu after seizing Kavumu airport. Residents of the northern city report that rebels entered without encountering any resistance. In a bold legal challenge, 14 state attorney generals have sued President Donald Trump and Elon Musk. The lawsuit claims Musk, who leads the Department of Government Efficiency, has exceeded his authority. This includes issuing orders of mass layoffs and dismantling of key federal agencies. It's reported that nuclear staff are among those to be fired. The attorney generals are calling for a restraining order to block Musk's directives, arguing such actions should only be taken by Senate-confirmed officials. This case highlights the growing controversy over government reform and executive authority. For more on this, we are joined by Joshua Barnes, anchor and correspondent. Thank you for joining us, Joshua. Elon Musk has been all over the news. He is leading this Department of Government Efficiency, also called DOGE. Joshua, tell me exactly what this department is.
Yes, so DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, was orchestrated by Donald Trump. Of course, Elon Musk is leading it. Now, the aim of Elon Musk and the Trump administration is to cut federal spending. It's something that they've said throughout their campaign and since coming into power, that there's too much of it, and they're looking to cut funds where they can. This is including laying staff off, looking at redundancy packages, but also streamlining many of the processes that are in place. We've seen Musk question things like the F-35 jet program, which is costing billions of pounds to the US government, but really they're trying to tighten those purse strings and cut spending wherever they can.
Joshua, what can you tell me about these recent updates about US judges barring Musk from the US Treasury?
Yes, so Musk has been almost unchecked in looking through many of these governmental departments. He's looking into the military at the moment. He's looked at US aid, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, aid organisation in the world, providing vital support to many. But recently, Musk has looked to explore the Treasury Department and find out where he can save money. But judges have blocked this move. Now, there's trillions of dollars worth of money that goes through the Treasury Department, and there are questions over a conflict of interest. There have been some 70 legal cases against Musk and his ability to access these departments. However, we are looking at a judge who has, of course, restricted him from the Treasury Department, but he does have access now to the Health and Labour Departments, which themselves have billions of dollars worth of money allocated to them. The question is, what is Musk's motive behind this? Is he just looking to save the government money, or does his position as the world's richest man and owner of several businesses, including Tesla, X and SpaceX, have a conflict with his mission?
Thank you very much for joining us, Joshua Barnes. We are joined by 2 other guests for further discussion on this topic. We are joined by Rabinder Sachdev, foreign affairs expert, and Surinder Lalai. Thank you very much for joining us. Rabinder, I wanted to come to you first, and I was wondering, why are these 14 US state attorneys generals suing Donald Trump and Elon Musk?
I think the primary reason they're suing in this particular case is that they're arguing that the very setting up of the Department of Government Efficiency is invalid, illegal. They're saying that this department should have been set up by an approval of the US Congress. That is in this particular case, I think. So they're saying that this very department is should not be there, or if it's there, it has to be mandated by the US Congress. And therefore, and accompanying with it, what Musk's technical, I think, designation, he's been given as a special government employee. That's apparently the card he carries nowadays. So they're arguing that the Doge is illegal and Musk there is illegal, and therefore in any case what they're doing is illegal. That is in this particular case. But in a bigger picture, yes, as you said, Trump has been talking about. See, Musk is a later entry into this, the political campaign and all, and Doge is a recent phenomenon was there. What Trump has been talking about was, of course, cutting down the federal expenditures, and they look at the federal bureaucracy as one part of it, has to be reduced. Now, what seems to be happening is, I would not say that they're looking at a reform of the government. They're looking to basically re-government America. They're saying that, we will slash and burn, and then whatever is needed, we'll learn from it. Whatever has to be fixed, we'll fix that. It's a re-governmenting of America, one. Secondly, part of the logic is that, okay, the US, budget, they have a deficit of, let's say, broadly speaking, about $2.5 trillion. The US government earns, quote unquote, if we could say that, through its various taxes and all, around $4 trillion. And its annual expenditure is about 6. So there's a $2 trillion, which the US government is running in deficit every year, and that is being added up. And the US public debt as of today is anywhere in the range of $36 trillion to $40 trillion, on which the US government has to pay interest. So their rationale is that we are going to cut down the expense and thereby reduce the deficit and thereby reduce the overall national public debt. The issue and the problem and the fact is that what they're trying to do, they're firing government employees straight off. America has become a land of courtroom battles.
I wanted to, apologies, I wanted to move on to Surinder Lalai, international affairs expert next, and just ask what executive powers have been delegated to the richest man in the world, South African-born Elon Musk, in terms of directly impacting the American voter?
Thank you, Thomas. And I find it now hilarious. I'm neither a spokesperson for the Democrat or nor the Republicans, but Thomas, when was the last time you saw the president of any nation, not the most, even if not the most powerful nation, have one of his non-elected tech czar speak 1,179 words more with his 4-year-old child on his shoulder? I love kids, but I'm not too sure if that's a part of any democratic convention of any kind in the world. So your question was, what right does he have? I don't know, because he has never ran for office. He's not elected. His only claim to fame was that he paid $250 billion to Donald Trump. And now what intrigues me, it's only been a few weeks. What intrigues me is, for how long is this recharge going to last? The bromance between the two going to last? Because the way, these guys are going and destroying the very federal structure. Once again, it's none of my business to comment, because I didn't vote for none of them either. But there has to be some method to how you do things. You just don't, throw the baby out of the bathwater and overnight. And is Donald Trump really that beholden to Elon Musk? And is Elon Musk bringing his children, with due respect to his, even when he met the Indian Prime Minister, the kids were crawling all over the place? Is that the right place to do it? And is that display of this kind by Elon Musk to let the world know, is it symbolic that this is the kind of power I wield? That's one. And number two, I've always found a conflict between MAGA and the agenda that Elon Musk has, because Elon Musk has maximum number of businesses in China. And Donald Trump came to power saying that we're going to tariff China. China's been fleecing us. China's been ripping us and la, 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 la. And lo and behold, now there's going to be another area of great conflict between Elon Musk, who's a businessman. He simply paid his way through to get Donald Trump's ear, and the China paradox. And one more point, I'm going to bring your point even home now. I mean, the first time in a very despicable manner, in an inhuman manner, they deported 104 Indians shackled, in a military plane. There's another plane landing one tonight and tomorrow. So I don't know, is this continuation of the way they're destroying the federal structure by not even doing the requisite paperwork? They don't hand over any paperwork for the reasons for deportation. So I don't know. I mean, I'm concerned. Sometimes I feel, Thomas, that the entire world should be able to vote for the American elections, because the kind of power this mercurial Donald Trump and its tech czar wields, it can influence by lives across the world.
Robinder Sachdev, I just wanted to ask very, very quickly, because we are running out of time. Elon Musk is announcing thousands and thousands of layoffs across the federal government. How powerful can the US judiciary be against Elon Musk as he, in the position that he has been given?
The US judiciary will definitely put some barriers, but as we were talking, there's zillions of lawsuits coming up by not only state attorney generals, by non-profits, by employee unions, by individual employees, etc. The judiciary will give some relief, but the pattern I see broadly, the judiciary may not give the relief that the petitioners are wanting. Several of these executive orders in some shape or form will continue. Several of these suits will reach the Supreme Court. And the big question is that, in fact, it's already happened. When the court orders something and the US federal government does not obey it, there's already issue of contempt of court in one particular case. So the US government, i.e. Trump, will not, maybe listen to the courts. In some cases it could happen. So you're heading into completely uncharted territory.
Thank you very much, Robinder Sachdev and Surinder Lalai, for joining us. We will move to some more news updates. Amid escalating violence in the Democratic Republic of Congo, M23 rebels backed by Rwanda capture key cities, displacing thousands. As President Tshisekedi calls for sanctions, will the African Union take decisive action or risk further instability? Let's find out in this report.
The escalating conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo has dominated the African Union summit in Ethiopia, with President Felix Tshisekedi absent as Rwandan-backed M23 rebels seize more territory. The situation has intensified, with M23 forces seizing Bukavu, the second largest city in the eastern region, following their earlier capture of Goma, forcing hundreds of thousands to flee. At the Munich Security Conference, President Tshisekedi called for Rwanda to be sanctioned, condemning what he describes as its expansionist ambitions. He has accused Kigali of fueling instability to exploit the mineral-rich region. President Paul Kagame has denied the allegations, insisting Rwanda is protecting itself from Hutu rebels in the DRC. The African Union has faced criticism for its inaction, with a high-level Peace and Security Council meeting running late into the night. Despite calls for an immediate ceasefire, fresh clashes have erupted. UN Chief Antonio Guterres calls for respect of Dr. Congo's territorial integrity and urges to avoid regional escalation after M23 fighters and Rwandan troops captured Bukavu.
Regional escalation must be avoided at all costs. There is no military solution. The deadlock must end, the dialogue must begin, and the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the DRC must be respected.
As regional tensions rise, the African Union faces pressure to act or risk being sidelined in one of Africa's worst conflicts. Bureau Report, NewsX.
We will now take a look at some news updates from across the Indo-Pacific. An investigation is underway after Taiwan's AT-5 Brave Eagle jet trainer crashed on the 10th of February following an engine failure during a weapons trading mission. The pilot ejected safely, but the jet, which only had 183 flying hours, crashed into the sea. The AT-5, Taiwan's first domestically made jet since the 1990s, is part of the country's effort to replace its aging training aircraft. Taiwan plans to acquire 66 units by 2026 as part of its strategy to strengthen defense amid rising tensions with China. South Korean footballer Hwang Woo-jo received a suspension of 1 year in prison for illegally filming sexual encounters without consent. The 32-year-old, who played for Al-Nassr, had his videos shared on social media by his sister-in-law, who was later sentenced to 3 years for blackmail. Hwang is convicted for filming one woman and acquitted of another. This case highlights South Korea's ongoing issue with illegal voyeurism, which has sparked widespread public outrage. A deadly fire at a hotel at a resort in reconstruction site in Busan, South Korea, has claimed 6 lives. Around 100 people were evacuated and 14 were rescued by helicopter after seeking refuge on a rooftop. The fire broke out in insulation material near the indoor pool, also left about 25 people injured. South Korea's acting president Choi Sang-mok has ordered full resources to be used to extinguish the blaze. Scam compounds in Myanmar's borderlands run by trafficked foreigners are key centres for global online fraud. The Karen Border Guard Force is deporting 10,000 people to Thailand, with 500 transferred daily. These compounds, like Shui Koko, are under military crackdown for human trafficking, drug smuggling and gambling. Thailand authorities have rescued over 250 foreigners, while the BGF continues targeting traffickers and fraudsters operating in the region. Thailand and Myanmar authorities are working together to tackle transnational criminal gangs operating along the border. Bangkok's air quality hit cautionary levels on Saturday, with PM 2.5 levels over the safety limit. PM 2.5 refers to tiny particles less than 2.5 micrometers in diameter that can enter the lungs, causing respiratory and cardiovascular issues, with sources including vehicle emissions, factories, forest fires and crop burning. Areas like Buang Kum and Nong Jok are experiencing even higher levels, reaching 50 to 58 microcubic per meter. Residents are advised to wear masks and stay indoors. Japan is releasing 210,000 tons of rice from its reserves to address a supply crisis caused by hoarding and inflation. The move, the first since the stockpile was established in 1995, comes as rice prices soar, with a 5-kilogram bag reaching $24 in January. Contributing factors include extreme heat in 2023 and a tourism boom. Agriculture Minister Taku Eto emphasized the government's determination to resolve the issue and stabilize prices, which have led to some residents reduce rice consumption. US Vice President J.D. Vance met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the Munich Security Conference. The two discussed several aspects of the potential peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. While there were some revelations made, some key points weren't unnoticed. Here is a report.
The first day of the Munich Security Conference was dominated by talks on the future of the war in Ukraine. World leaders and representatives, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US Vice President J.D. Vance, gathered just days after President Trump announced that he had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with Russian leader Vladimir Putin in the first face-to-face conversation with the Ukrainian president, Vance said.
Fundamentally, the goal is, as President Trump outlined it, we want the war to come to a close, we want the killing to stop, but we want to achieve a durable, lasting peace, not the kind of peace that's going to have Eastern Europe in conflict just a couple years down the road.
However, in his statement, Zelensky said that he isn't sure US has a ready-made plan. He also said Ukraine would need to double the size of its army without NATO membership.
We are very thankful for American support. President Trump, we have good conversation today. Our first meeting, not last, I'm sure, and really what we need to speak more, to work more, and to prepare the plan how to stop Putin and finish the war. We want peace very much, but we need real security guarantees. And
Vance also met with UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy, who then made some revelations from their conversation over the negotiations in the Russia-Ukraine war.
We share the view that there has to be an enduring peace. We recognise that this can't be Minsk 3.0. This has to be a serious negotiated peace. And there was an agreement that Zelensky and the Ukrainians have to be part of that negotiated deal.
In a sad outcome, the conversations ended without an announcement of a critical minerals deal that is central to Kyiv's push to win the backing of President Donald Trump. Reportedly, 2 members of the Ukrainian delegation said that some details still needed to be worked out in a revised draft agreement of the deal that could open up its vast resources of key minerals to US investment. Away from Munich, Ukraine alleged that a Russian strike damaged the protective shield over the Chernobyl nuclear power plant overnight, a claim the Kremlin has since denied. The strike hit the concrete shelter that covers the plant's destroyed former 4th power unit, sparking a fire that was later extinguished. Despite significant damage, Zelensky said radiation levels have not increased. The war is raging as the peace talks are gaining momentum from all fronts. Each passing day when peace is not made increases the risk of lives and the future of the 2 regions. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Let's now take a look at some news updates from across North America.
The US Department of Justice has moved to dismiss its corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. This escalates tensions between the Trump administration and career federal prosecutors. 7 Justice Department lawyers, including Manhattan's top US attorney, resigned in protest over the decision. Adams, who was indicted last year on fraud and bribery charges, maintains his innocence. Meanwhile, President Trump announces his plans to move forward with tariffs on foreign cars starting on April the 2nd. He did not specify the rates or which countries would be affected. Speaking in the Oval Office, Trump said he originally intended to announce the tariffs on April the 1st, but decided to wait due to superstitions. His administration has already introduced trade measures that could significantly impact the auto industry. Mexico's president has warned US gun makers they could face new legal action if Washington designates Mexican cartels as terrorist groups. President Claudia Sheinbaum said Mexico may expand its lawsuit against gun manufacturers, possibly accusing them of complicity. She also urged the US to do more to stop firearms trafficking into Mexico. On Valentine's Day, thousands marched through Vancouver in the annual Women's Memorial March. This honours missing and murdered Indigenous women. The march began in 1992 after the murder of Cheryl Ann Joe, a 26-year-old Indigenous woman found killed on Powell Street. Since then, the event has grown, drawing families, activists and community members who demand justice and support for victims. A woman who accused Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z of sexually assaulting her at the age of 13 has dropped her civil lawsuit. The allegations stemmed from an alleged incident at a post-MTV Video Music Awards party in September of the year 2000. Court documents filed in the US District Court for the Southern District of New York State. The case was voluntarily dismissed with prejudice, meaning it cannot be refiled. Neither Combs nor Jay-Z have publicly commented on the dismissal. Canada is facing criticism from the Nigerian government for denying visas to senior military officers, including the country's top general. Nigeria's Chief of Defence Staff, General Christopher Musa, said half of his delegation was unable to travel for an official assignment due to visa issues. Nigeria's Interior Minister called the decision disrespectful. The Canadian High Commission in Nigeria acknowledged the matter but declined to comment further.
That is all we have time for. We will continue to bring you more news updates from across the world.